Now, if we go to SC38, and we have seen in the last class here loop, how to use your for loop. And then we have seen how can we call any function module or class slash method inside your for loop. So if you want to create any method, if you want to call any class slash function module inside your for loop, so you have to create the method with the reference parameter, sorry, with what I mean to say, returning parameter. So you always need to provide that as your returning parameter only. Okay, so it will not accept like any exporting parameters or any kind of stuff. It will just accept your returning parameter. That returning parameter we will be assigning to directly to our field. Okay, so the next thing we have seen how to work with, how to debug your for loop. So that one also I have just showcased you by clicking on your step size. So there is an option in your debugging which is called as your step size. When we click on that step size, it will just increment the counter, and then it will just go ahead and do the processing inside your for loop one by one record. So this one also I have showcased you that. Now the next thing is we will be going to see something called as your we'll be going to see something called as your for loop with uh, group by. I would say um, I would say, how can you work with your loop? So loop at group by group by. So this is something which I would say is called as your what I would say. Yeah, so this is something called as your control break statements. How to work with your control break statements with your new syntax. So similar to control break statements. So now but when you are going to use your group by clause, it has so many advantages, guys. So compared to this control break statements, we have so many advantages. So now, first of all, what are the prerequisites we will be considering for your control break statements? The first and the foremost prerequisite is the data. The data must be sorted. The data must be sorted on which I want to group. So on that particular group on which you have to do. So this is for your control break statements. I'm telling the prerequisites. So let's say, for example, like I'm going to do select VBELN, VKO RG, VTWEG, and then SPART. So now I want to group by on my sales org. So if you want to do a control break statements on your sales org, so what you have to do, this you have to get on your first field. If you are getting that as your second field, then it will compare with VBE, LN, and VKO RG combination. So now, whatever the fields you want to group, those fields must be comes on your left side or the starting of your selected query. On these fields, you are going to sort your data. So this is your first thing. So now the second thing is the fields which we will be using in the control break statements. Control break statements must be at the beginning of my selected query. Beginning of my select query. Beginning of my select query. So this is one more thing, or the beginning of my list, what you're going to get that. Now, so the next limitation. So there is one more limitation also when you're going to use. So these are prerequisites and there is one more limitation. So what is that limitation? If you are using at first, at new slash at last. If you are using at first slash at last, not at new, at first slash at last, at first slash at last. So now what it will do, the accept the fields which we are grouping the other fields will be showcase will be star. So if you go ahead and debug that, you will be finding out this one. You will be showcasing that as your star. So now in order to get these fields, so whatever the other fields, what we have to do, we we need to pass the data into a work area, and from that we will get the respective data. We'll be getting your respective data. So this is what we will be doing it in case of your control break statement, right? So now, so to avoid all these things, we have to do the sorting, the fields ordering, and everything. So let's say I don't want to change the field order. So whatever the field, so maybe I'm going to use that at a different place. So I'll be saying this as VKO RG. So the same order I'm going to use in a different place. Now, in that case, what you have to do, you need to go ahead and create one more types declaration with the fields that you want to be in a same, with the fields that you want, or the order how we will pass in the control break statements, I would say CB statements, I would say. So in that order you will be passing it, and then you will be moving the data to the CB statement table to be in the control, moving the data to your CB statement table. Okay, so this is what you will be doing. So all these things we don't need to do when you are going to use your group by. When you're going to use your group by, we don't need to do all these things, guys. Okay, we will never ever do all these things. So just simply we'll be just calling the statement, and then system will automatically group your records. System will automatically group your records. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, sorry for that. So now, so all these things we don't need to do it when you are using your group by clause. So whatever the fields you want to group by, you can just group the data. So the syntax is loop it. So whatever the internal table you have uh, into work area, and you just need to use a command called as your group by, on which fields you want to go ahead and group. Then you need to provide your field name hyphen work area hyphen your field one, and then whatever the other fields you want, you can just provide that too. If it is a single field, you can just work on your single field. If it is a multiple fields, you can work on your multiple fields. So then once you have done this, now let's say if I want to get the number of records, if I want to know how many records are there for this particular group in your internal table, so how many number of records, so that's it. So before that, let me close this group by, and you will be writing a reference into, you will be assigning a data reference lr underscore your group, whatever the group you have, and then you will be writing your end loop. Now this LR underscore group will contains the data of this particular group. This LR underscore group, whatever the data it has. So when you are writing this, SAP will only go ahead and check whatever the fields that are equal to this one, and it will go ahead and get those data automatically. So let's say, for example, I want to know the how many records that are available. So size is equal to, you will have to use a size command, and I'll be mentioning it as group size. Group size. So group size. So now this will tell us how many records are available with this particular two condition grouping. So with this particular two condition grouping, let's say, for example, let me open your Excel. So now I'll be going to say, so the same thing, VBELN, VKORG, VTWEG, and then SPART. So now, so sales order 1, VKO RG 1000, VTWEG 10 and 10. So now sales order 2, VKO RG again 1000, 10 and 10. Now sales order 3, 1000, I'll be going to say this as 10 and 10. Now sales order 4, I'll be taking this as 2500, 25 and 25. Now sales order 5, so 1000 and then 10 and 10. So I'm not going to sorting also. See this, I'll not sort also. Now sales order 6, 4000, or I will be taking this as 1500, 15 and 15. Now sales order 7, 3000 and then 30 and 30. So like this I have my data. So sales order 8, 2000, and then it will just go ahead and check 20 and your 20. So now when you want to go ahead and do your on this VKO RG grouping, so what it will do, so it will just write your 1000 first, and then it will go ahead and check. So the group size, as I told you, we have something called as your, where is this? Okay, I'm just writing the trailer. Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay, so when you're going to write that into your group by, it is telling that it will just count the number of records for that particular group. So now my record, my condition is 1000. So for this, how many records are there? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is my 4 records. And the next one. So what is my next one? So it will just check this like this only. It will check. So now if you want 2500, and then you will be having 1 record. Next 1500, it will be having 1 record, and then 3000, it will be having, sorry, 3000, it will be having 1 record, and then 2000, it will be having 1 record. Now, so I don't want like this. I want to sort this. So the group has to be sorted and it has to be followed. So you can also use your sorting. Then it will go ahead and sort your data like your 1500. So or you have to provide the command called as descending or ascending. Then only it will go ahead and sort that. So done 2000, 2500, and then it will be your 3000. So I have done the sorting. So that record count is the same. So that's the reason I just changed the uh, sales organization values. Okay. So like this. So you can also sort this one. So when you have provide this group by with a size index, so into your reference, you will be passing to your reference, right? So you have passed the data to your reference. You have passed the data to your reference. In this reference, this is the output you will be going to see that one. This is the output you will be going to see. Okay, so this is what. Now, if I want to assign an index also, you can just assign an index. So this is my first row, this is my second row, this is my third row, this is my fourth row, and this is my fifth row. It will automatically do your index. So in order to do that index, you will be using a keyword called as your index. So index, and you will be writing something called as your group index. So you will be writing something called as your group index. Now what we have to do, so you will be having your data. So now internally you will be again writing on loop at group, loop at group lr underscore group lr underscore group into data of let's say ls underscore your group, ls underscore your group. Now one by one record, it will be just processing. It will just go ahead and processing your one by one record. Now you can ask me, as you are going to write a loop inside a loop, will you go ahead and create any performance issue? No, because you are just updating the values on group. On a particular group, you are doing an update instead of using at the begin, at the new, at end, at last, all these things. So you will be just providing that into a group, and you are going to loop that group. The same behavior and the same thing how you are going to do this with your control break statements, the same thing it will also do over here. Okay, so now let's see that example. So any questions in this till now? Any questions?
No, Rakesh.
Okay. So now let me go ahead and tell you that one. So now I'll be taking this as your loop group. So I'll just go ahead and click on create uh, loop using group by. So now I'll be just going to take this as executable program, click on save. I'll be going to save that to your local object. Now I'll be just saying this as no standard page heading, no standard page heading. Now I'll be writing this as start of selection. I'll be just writing this as start of selection. Now let me go here. Now I'll be saying this as select the same thing which I have taken VBLN, VKO, RG, VTWEG. Let's take ERDAT, ERDAT, ERNAM, VKO, RG, VTWEG, and then SPART from VBAK into table at the rate data of GT underscore your VBAK up to, I would be saying this as here 500 rows. Let's take like this. I have just taken this. Okay, so now if you want, you can just go ahead and say order by VBLN ascending, and then whatever you want, you can just go ahead and write down that. Okay, so now I'll just go ahead and take your distant values. So distant values, I'm just going to pass that. Now I'll be now my requirement. So I'm just going to have a temporary table data underscore VB underscore temp. I'm just going to say here it as GT underscore VBAK, and then I'll let's say this clear. I'm just clearing this. So I'll just showcase you how it will update the data into your VBAK underscore your TMP. I'll just showcase you how it is going to update the data. Okay. Now control F3, I'm just activating it. So now what I need to do, loop at internal table GT underscore VBAK into GS underscore your VBAK. You will be writing this as your group by VKORG. Group by your VKORG. group by your VKO RG is equal to GS underscore VBAK hyphen VKO RG. So I'm just going to pass that one. So now into uh, reference into my bad reference into, I'll just going to say data LR underscore group. Okay, so now when I go here, I'll just keep a breakpoint. I'm not going to do anything, just putting a breakpoint and then activating the code. I'm just activating the code. Let me click on execute. Now see here, you will be getting an LR group. Um, where is this? Where is this?
Rakesh, just click on the left button. There is a LR group, right? In the left button, not the left. Click on it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So see here, you will be having the first record has your space. Now, if I go here to my GT underscore VBAK, it is having the first record has your space. Now it is going to add that first spaces into your LR group. Now, if I want, let me just click on execute. So let me click on execute um, and then I'll be showing this as your uh, so what is the next one? Yeah, size. Size is equal to my group size. And then if I go here to index, index is equal to your group index. So any other fields you have, let me check that if you can use any other fields. That's it. Now then I'll just click on execute. Now when I click on execute, now if you see here in your LS group, see how many records are there for that particular size. 31 records are there and it has assigned you an index for that. Now if I go here the next time F5, so what is the next record with that? F5. So now if I go here to this, so 17 or 10 with 101 records and it has assigned your size to. Now when you are going, so in this you have 101 records. So that 101 records will be first, it will just go one by one loop, one by one loop. Now let me check that one. So now what I will do here, so I'll be just writing it as your clear GT underscore VBAK underscore your temp. Now I'll just go ahead and loop at LR underscore group into data. Let's take LV underscore your group. So now if I go here, so now you will be having the data. So I'll just say simply append LV underscore group to GT underscore VBAK underscore your temp. So I'm just assigning that. So this group will have contains the record of whatever the work area you have. So now shift F1 and then control F3. Sorry, loop at group. Okay, so into data, I'm just need to write append LB group line, append LB group line to GT underscore VBAK underscore your temp. So now let me click on check. Sorry, it's spelling mistake. VBAK and then click on check this and activate this. So why I want to showcase you this one. So the first time it will just go ahead and add those records. So now it doesn't have any records. Now, when I say F8, when I say F8, so now see here the first 31 records with blank records. The blank records has been added, and then the next 101 record. So I'm just going to clear this. So now it will just append the data. It will just appending the data. Let me keep, I forgot to keep a breakpoint at the last. Okay, I'll also keep your breakpoint over here. So let me activate the code and let me click on execute and then F8. You can able to see here on your first record 38 and then the 101. So as I told you in your LR group, so how many? So as we came out from this loop, it has been removed. So like this, you can able to use your group by, and then if you want, you can use your ascending or descending. If you want, you can go ahead and use your ascending or you're descending. How to use that one? You just need to go ahead and pass over here. Before this, you will be just using your ascending. Ascending. So ascending, or I can say this as my descending. Now let me go ahead and activate this one. Now, when I click on execute, now the first time it will just go ahead and for your 1710 as we have, sorry. So 1710 descending. So we have only two values, either blank or 1710. So it has done your 1710 at the first, and then it is doing with your space. So this is how you can just group your records and you can just update those values. You can just update those values. So like this, you can just go ahead and update your values. And then you can call your PAPI over here. After this, I'll just go ahead and call my BAPI or anything, whatever I want. And then before this loop again, I'll just clear it off, and then I'll going to append the records, whatever the records I have into a table, whatever the required tables I want, and then I'll just go ahead and call my BAPI. So like this. So you don't need to write. The coding will also get reduced when you're using your group by clause. When you're going to use your group by clause, the coding will also get reduced. So this is one important thing. So let's say you're getting a file and then you will be uploading the file into an internal table. From that internal table, you just need to go ahead and post post the data into your SAP. Let's say based upon your document date or document type, I just want to create my document. I just want to create my document. So if I have the respective like document date and document type, so you just need to go ahead and provide those values into one single group, and then automatically you will be just filling whatever the required details for BAPI underscore accounting document underscore post. You can just go ahead and use that one, and then you will be filling all those data, all those details, and then you can just go ahead and simply call your BAPI, irrespective of doing it first, at last, and all this stuff are gone. All this stuff are gone. Now, in the same way, how can you work with your new syntax for your group by clause? So now if you have this, I'll be just writing this as GT underscore VBAK underscore temp is equal to, I'll be saying this as value hash. So I want my data as it is. So I'll be just going to use base GT underscore. So whatever the data I have, I don't want to lose the data. And then you will be writing your you will be writing your line. So you'll be just shaking this as LV underscore your group, as I need to update every values. As I need to update every values, just going to update this one. So the same thing. So no issues at all. Now, if I want to use my for loop also, you can just go ahead and use your for loop. So what is that? GT underscore VBAK underscore temp is equal to value hash. I'll be saying this as for for LSLV underscore group in group LR underscore your group LR underscore your group, and then you will be just providing whatever the line you have LV underscore your group. So as I need to populate all the fields, you can just go ahead and simply write like that. So no issues in that. Now shift F1, then control F3, it will just activate your code. So like this, you can go ahead and use your group by clause instead of doing with your control break statements. Instead of doing your control break statements, you can just go ahead and do this one. So any questions in this, guys?
Rakesh,
Yeah.
here we need to use base that keyword. New
Which
syntax
one?
31.
So 31. So you see, see, this is my empty record. If you want those records to be available, then you can also use like this. So whatever the records are there on top of it, I want to do a for loop. You can just simply write like this. Check this and activate. So if you're using the command base, so the data which is there in your internal table will not get wipe off, as I was telling you in your new syntaxes earlier. So if you are going to use your what I mean to say, yeah, if you are going to use your yeah, if you are going to if you want the data which is there in your database table, and then the data has to be needed, and then on top of it I want to append the records, you have to use your base. If you're not going to use the base command, it will overwrite the records. It will override the records. This is also one of your interview question. So I have the records in my internal table. How can you work? How to append the data? How to append the data using a new command so that the data should not get overwritten. So then you need to tell that we have to use this base command, or they can ask what is the importance of a base command. What is the importance of a base command in your new syntax? That's also they can ask you in your interview questions. Okay, clear, Jay? Any questions?
Yeah. No.
Okay. So this is how you can just go ahead and use your group by. So now next see what are the other statements we have. So /o SC38. So new syntaxes. I'll just go ahead and click on display. Now we have seen your for loop with a let operator and 10 control break statements using your group by, and then we also seen your select queries inline declaration, and we have seen the joins and for all entries. Now the only thing we have pending is here reduce. So by that we have almost completed all the new syntaxes which you can work on your ECC systems. So whatever the syntax till now which I have showcased you, you can use all these syntaxes in your ECC system without any issues. Without any issues, you can just simply go ahead and use that one. Okay. Now, the last and the final statement is your reduce. What is the importance of your reduce? Let's say the same thing. So if you are going to use a group statement, it is just giving up your group, right? So the same details I want to showcase that in your output. So I want to see the count of records based on some particular things, or I want to do the summation, or I want to do the summation. So let's say I have some data based upon some field, I want to do the pricing. So I have the data. So let's say, so one, and so what are my fields? VBLN, POSNR, and then let's take your amount. So one, line item 10, and then 100. So I want two, line item 20. So I'll just take this as 10 and 100. So two, line item 20, and I want have 300. So these are the prices. So 3, 10, I have 100, and then 3 line item 20, I have 200, and then 3 line item 30, I have 300. Now I want my output as 1 is 1. For 1 it is 100, and for 2 it's 100 plus 4 300, it's 400, and then for 3 it is 200 300 300 as 600. So this is what I want to see. So based upon the sales order, it has to sum of your amount. I want to showcase that one. So there is a new syntax for this, guys, so that we will be checking at a later point of time. So I want to do it on your application layer. How can you work with your reduce statement is what I'm going to showcase you right now. Okay. So now how to the syntax for your reduce statement. What is the syntax? So um, so I'll be just providing the variable. Let me open here the word. Anything is fine. So now the syntax, I'll be having a variable LB underscore variable, or you can declare using your inline data is equal to, you will be using a command called as reduce hash. If you know your data element, you can just provide the data element. So now before that, let me showcase and told you how can we do that in your old syntax. So what you will be doing, what you guys will be doing. So you will be writing this as loop at gt underscore vbak into gs underscore here vbak, and then I'll be saying this as your end loop. So now you'll be right. So let's say my internal my final fields, I have something called as your VBELN. So GS underscore VBELN, you will be just passing this as your GS underscore VBAK hyphen VBELN. So you'll be just passing this, and then amount is equal to what you will be doing, or else you can use your control break statements. You can just go ahead and use your control break statements using your group by. So let's go to your previous only. So you'll be just saying at a new um, or else I'll be just taking this as okay, let me go ahead and write like this. So then gs underscore vb8, so amount plus gs underscore vbap. This is vbap. VBAP hyphen your amount. Now we'll be saying at end of VBLN, at end of VBLN, E underscore your final. So like this, you can use it, or else you can just go ahead and use into your group, and then loop at group. You can just amount it at the last. You can just append to your final. So anything is okay. No issues at all. Anything is okay, no issues at all. You can just go ahead and use that too. Now, instead of writing all these things, so instead of writing loop inside a loop or control break statements, everything, I'll be just going and using the reduce keyword. So I'll be just going and using your reduce keyword. Now, what is the statement? So reduce. So now the first thing is we have to declare a variable. See here amount is the one, so which you are passing this. So I'm just going to declare a variable. So lv underscore variable type, let's take this as your amount. let's take this as your amount. So that means I would be saying this as here. You can define your predefined data type, or you can use your data element, or you can use your table hyphen field, or you can use your structure hyphen your field. Structure hyphen your field. So I'm just going to declare this, and then I want to loop my data. So I'll just go here for, I'm just going to have my variable ls underscore vbap in lt underscore vbap. So I want to loop only for this vbe So you just go ahead and pass your where condition, where, open your brackets, VBELN is equal to GS underscore VBAP hyphen your VBELN. And then once you have provided this, and you will be using your next keyword. So now next keyword equal to LV underscore variable uh, uh, is equal to LV underscore variable plus you will be just writing here it as ls underscore vbap hyphen your amount. So this is what you have to do it. So you can do your counting or you can do whatever you want. You can do your counting. Now in your new syntax, you don't need to do this. Sorry, you don't need to pass this. I can just say is equal to plus. So so this is your Java style coding, or plus is equal to like that you will be writing it. Plus is equal to or is equal to plus. So let me check that one. So once we write your ABAP code, so you don't need to again write down this. If you're going to use the same variable on your right hand side, and if you're doing any arithmetic operations, you don't need to pass that again. If you write this one, it will just go ahead and do that one. This is Java style coding what you will be using. The same thing now SAP has also came. Now SAP has also been introduced into our ABAP. You don't need to do that one. Now let me go ahead and showcase you that example. So clear with this reduce statement? Any questions? Any questions?
No, Rakesh.
Okay. So now let me go ahead and showcase you that one. So now what I will be doing. So now let me go back, and then let me go back, go back, and then 8 a.m. reduce. So just click on this. Example, I'll be going to take this as executable program, click on save this. Now I'm going to take this as no standard page heading. Then I'll be taking this as types declarations, types begin of GTY underscore sales. I'm just going to take this as VBELN type VBELN underscore your VA, and then whatever you have NETPR, NETWR, WR type VBAP hyphen NETWR. We do have that field or not. Let me go ahead and check that one in slash NSE11 or else SE16N VBAP, and I'll just say execute. So now let me check for which field I have the amount. Okay, net value. So now you have the okay, NETWR only. So for this, I want to just go ahead and do that one. So now I'll be saying this as end of GTY underscore your sales. Now I'll be saying this as GTT underscore sales type standard table of GTY underscore sales, initial size 0, and then data GT underscore sales type GTT underscore your sales. Now I'll be writing this as start of selection. Then I'll be going and get the data, select VBELN, POSNR, and then NETWR from VBAP into table at the rate data of GT underscore VBAP. I'll be saying this as up to, let's take 500 rows. So I'm just going to add this 500 rows. Now I have my data, so you can use your distinct order by and everything, blah, 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 whatever I have told you. So you just go ahead and use that one. Now I want to fill this table. So I want to fill this table on my GT sales. Now GT underscore sales is equal to value hash. So I'm just going to work on this for GS underscore VBAP in GT underscore VBAP, and then wherever I have. So I'm just going to do my for loop. So for this, if you want, you can just go ahead and say group by VBELN is equal to, I'll just go ahead and say GS underscore VBAP hyphen VBELN. I'm just going to do my group by, and then I'll be just passing my based upon my group. Based upon the group, I'm just updating it. So VBELN is equal to GS underscore VBAP hyphen VBELN. Again, if you want, you can just go ahead and loop that one. So for and all these things. So you can just go ahead and group it, and internally you can just call your group statement also. So before that, let's go ahead and say like this. I'll just go ahead and define one more internal table. So what I will do, data GT underscore VBAP underscore temp, your GT underscore your VBAP. So GT underscore your VBAP. So here also you can use on your group by also. Group by one second. I forgot the syntax. I just want to showcase you with new style only. Okay, so now if you wanted this group by only, it will just group it and you can do this. I just want to showcase your reduce. So I don't want to go ahead with my group by cross, guys. So group by will, again, I can't able to showcase my reduce. You can just loop on your group and you can just do the sum. It will work out. So I don't want to do that one. So I want to use my reduce operator. So now I'll be saying delete GT underscore VBAP underscore temp by delete adjacent duplicates from comparing VBELN. So I just done this. So before that, I'll be go ahead and say data GT underscore VBAP underscore your temp by VBELN. So now I'm going to do this VBAP underscore your TMP, where you will be having your unique records. Now, what is my next field? I have my field called as NETWR. For this, I'm going to use my reduce. So internally, it will go ahead and writing a query. So init, initialize. So you have to initialize. So I'll be going to say LV underscore NETWR type VBAP hyphen NETWR. So now you here have to say for for GS underscore VBAP in GT underscore VBAP, where where um, where VBLN is equal to GS underscore VBAP underscore your temp. So now here you have to use your next. So LV underscore.
Rakesh, add hyphen VB. Giving
Oh,
structure.
sorry. Thanks. VBLN and LV under. So next LV underscore NET is equal to plus is equal to. I'm just going to say GS underscore VBAP hyphen NETWR. I'm just closing this. So that's it. Now see here, I didn't pass this. I have used my Java query over here, that Java statement. It will just go ahead and activate. So you don't need to pass plus or equal to or minus equal to, multiplication equal to, division equal to. If you are going to use the same field on your right hand side and you are going to do your arithmetic operations you can simply go ahead and write like this. You don't need to worry about that. Okay. So with the help of your group by also you can able to do it, guys. With the help of that's your assignment, try to do that. Okay. So now you will be writing a for inside a for loop, and then you will be just going to write down that. Okay. Now, once you got this, I'll be just showcasing this as CL underscore demo underscore your output, and then display. I'll be just showcasing my output GT underscore my sales. Now let me do my pretty printer and let's activate my code and let's click on execute. See here, it has just do your sum up. It has just done with your sum up. Now, the same thing you can ask at your database layer also. So I'll be just commenting this. So whatever you want, I don't need anything. Okay. I don't need anything. So I'll be just seeing this as select VBLN and then sum of. So you have to use your keyword sum of NETWR. So you just need to provide your alias name as NETWR from VBAP into table at the rate data of GT underscore your VBAP up to 100 rows, up to 500 rows. So now when you are using any arithmetic operations in your select query, on which fields you want to group. So here also you will be grouping on your VBLN and it will be doing on your sum, right? You are grouping. So loop at group. So if you are going to use your new syntax, let me also showcase you that new syntax too. How can you work with your new syntax? I'll be just showcasing you that, guys. No issues. Now I'll be got my data. So now what you will be doing? So you will be just writing here it as data underscore sales underscore value hash for GS underscore VBAP in GT underscore VBAP group by, and then you will be writing here it as VBLN is equal to GS underscore VBAK hyphen VBLN, and then you can just go ahead and do for GS underscore VBAK hyphen temp in group. I I need to check this case. I'm not getting this. In group, you can just pass your group by name, and then you can do your for loop. So now you're going to group this field, and then you're going to do your sum. right? So now when you want to do any arithmetic operations on which field, on which whatever the fields that you're going to do provide you on your left hand side has to be in your group by clause, VBLN. So whatever the fields, so if you have multiple fields, you have to provide all your multiple fields. So you have to give your group by on which fields you want to, you're asking SAP to group your data on which fields. So simply, and then I'll be saying this as CL underscore demo underscore your output, and I'll be taking this as your display. Now here I'll be just providing it as GT underscore VBAP. Now I'll be just, where is this? Shift F1. I'll be just activating this, and then I'll be just clicking on execute, the same output. No difference at all. You can just do like this also. Instead of doing this, you can do that. Similarly, the concatenation, you can do it. All those things we'll be seeing when you are teaching with your CDS views. Now, in tomorrow's class, we'll be going to tell you, that means on Monday. By this, we have completed whatever the new syntaxes that are available on your ECC system, on your ECC system. So whatever the new syntaxes that are available. So on your ECC, you can work with these syntaxes on your ECC. There is concat lines, concat at space, ltrim, rtrim, lpad, rpad, case statements, everything we will be seeing on your CDS views. So when you are writing your CDS view, so then I'll be comparing how can we write with your SE38 the same syntaxes, and there is currency conversion, unit conversions, and then we do have something called as your um, replace. There are so many other things are also there. So in that CDS view, we will be telling about your CDS view, define view with the joins, define view with the associations, define view with the parameters, and then we will be seeing your how can we convert your CDS view into an OData services, virtual data elements, virtual data models, and then we'll be seeing something called as CDS view with the table functions, and then we'll be going to see about your AMDPs. In that AMDP, how to work with your AMDP, how to pass the select option into your AMDP, and then how to declare variables inside your AMDP methods, how to declare your constants inside your AMDP methods. And then we'll also see something called as how to work with your if conditions as well as your loop conditions inside your AMDP, and how to clear the data in an AMDP. So all those things we'll be seeing this. After this, I'll be coming back to the OData services with the help of your SEGW, how to work with your OData services. So after that, we'll be showcasing you my real-time system, where you'll be seeing something called as your custom fields and app logic. Custom fields and app logic CFL, and then if pause, I'll also showcase you that how to um, there is one more thing, CFL, custom analytical app query. Custom analytical query is this custom analytical query I'll be trying to get. I'm getting that Fury tile over here. So once I got the Fury tile, I can just showcase you over here. If not, I'll be giving you the steps how to work with your custom analytical app query. You can just go ahead and learn on your own. So by that, we'll be completing your entire course, which will be taken almost another 40 days. Don't worry about that. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So that's the end of today's session. Before I signing off for today's session, any other questions?
Rakesh, this select sum you return, no?
Hmm.
In this, we can use where condition, right? Where condition.
Yeah, everything you can
Where,
use. Whatever you have, you can just go ahead and use that one.
okay. So
But
that one
the
also
thing
we need to
is,
mention as group by.
no, but the thing is, you have to mention group by clause on which fields you are going to group your sum.
Okay.
So instead of here, I can just say, sorry. where VKORG is equal to, let's say, 1710. I am just using that. And you can also use your order by clause, order by VBLN, order by your VBLN. So sorry, it has to work. It will work for sure. So 10. Now when I click on check, sorry, we don't have this field, but if you have any other fields, you can just pass it. Okay. So I'm just going to pass on VKORG, but that field is not available. Let's take um, MAT, I'm just showcasing that. MATNR. And now when I click on check, see here, no issues. So I have done the group by and I also done my order by, everything. So if you want, you can just go ahead and use your distinct also. So everything I'm just going to do it in one single statement. One single
Okay.
statement. Okay, clear?
Okay. Okay.
So
Clear.
so this data is not available, but I'm just showcasing you on this. So
Okay. Okay. Okay.
if it is a parameter or select option, so if it is a parameter or at the rate, you will be just passing this as MAT NR. Or if it is a select option, in at the rate S underscore MAT NR. S underscore MAT NR. So like this, so simple. So you can just go ahead and pass all these things. Now when I click on check, no issues. Oh, anyways, this is not available, so that's the issue. It is showcasing you that. Okay, clear?
Okay. 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 Clear, Rakesh. Yes.
Any other questions, guys? So now let me click on check and let me activate this one. So that's it. So we'll be meeting you on Monday again, and we'll continue to see something called as your ATC, SCI, and code inspector. So after that, we'll be just jumping up into your CDS. So once I have gone through my CDS views, I'll be never using your SC38 editor. I'll be never ever using my SC38 editor. The entire codes or the programs or the classes, whatever I'm going to write, I'll be just writing up in your Eclipse. I'll also suggest you to go ahead and practice as much as on your Eclipse, guys, because so the future, what you're going to write the code will be on your Eclipse only. The future, what you're going to write is on your Eclipse only. We will be never using your SC38. If you want to work on your RAP, you have to work with your Eclipse. If you want to work on your BTP, you have to work with your Eclipse. If you want to work with your CAPM, you have to work on your Eclipse. The entire cloud solution based things, you have to work on your Eclipse only. Okay, remember that. Okay,
Okay. Rakesh.
so that's it. So we'll meet you again on Monday. Happy weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you.
Thank you.